There is evidence now that whether on purpose, whether consciously or unconsciously, unfortunately, it's not a nice thing to say, but what it appears to be is that the Trump administration are now literally waiting for a terror attack. They're almost inviting it upon the US because there's something big that they can do as a result. In fact, every authoritarian regime in history has relied on a major act of terror to enable them to grab a lot of powers and to shift the entire dynamic and shift the entire system of government that exists. And that seems to be what they're doing now. And I'll talk about why that is and what the evidence for that is in a few moments, and what is likely to come about as a result. And it's very important because forearmed is to be forewarned. And we need to be aware of what might be coming down the track. And I'm going to say a quick word about the channel and then I'll get straight down to it. I hope you're enjoying the video. As a psychiatrist who's fascinated by the worlds of politics and economics and philosophy, I love making these videos, and if you'd like to see more of them, then please do like and subscribe and comment in this video. What you'll find is that there's a beautiful community growing up around this channel. We're all going through a national and international trauma right now because of what's happening and where our leaders are taking us. And in this channel, you'll find people honestly sharing their situation and their distress, and other people responding with kindness, empathy, and compassion. So please join this wonderful community that we're forming, join in the comments and the dialogue that's happening. So what we've seen is that Trump has been doing some things that are inexplicable in ordinary political times. They have significantly degraded the counter-terrorism effort in the States, whereas Homeland Security had a major part of its action involving seeking out potential terrorist threats around the country and connecting up with global sources as well. They've ceased almost all of that function, and they've changed Homeland Security into a department that's just about capturing and deporting migrants. That's almost the entirety of its actions now.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border, for deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting America first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you.
The department has been orientated completely away from counterterrorism and towards that. The Department of Defense, run by Pete Hegseth, has been sacking reams and reams of senior officials, many of whom were also involved in supporting the counterterrorism effort within the Department of Defense, which is a major player within that arena as well. But again, those people are being shed in large numbers. The whole focus of the American government used to be like a torchlight, which is how it works in other governments, like in the UK here, like a torchlight searching through, looking for terrorist threats under the bushes and in dark corners to see where they might be emerging and crush them before they arise and cause great harm. And these things are sort of blooming all the time. So it's really important to keep that sort of searchlight, if you like, on and active all the time to protect the citizenry from the potential of terrorist acts. Every major democratic country has parts of the government dedicated to this work, and that is certainly the case in the US, who pretty much started that whole trend in the first place after 9/11. But all of those things are being shut down, all of those systems are now being ignored, and what's happening, whether it's in the Department of Homeland Security or the Department of Defense, a blind eye is being turned to any possible terrorist threat that's emerging. Now, why are they doing this? What's really clear is that if a terrorist attack occurs, would we really think that Trump would then invest time and energy into tracking down the real culprits and finding out what's really going on? No. What Trump will do almost certainly, and we know this from his character and personality, is start to point at people who are already his enemies. He'll point at the Democrats, he'll point at woke, he'll point perhaps even at international allies. He certainly won't point at Russia, and he won't make any attempt to apprehend the culprits themselves. What he will do is use it as a vehicle to then attack the people who he's always wanted to attack, including the press and including freedoms enjoyed by the press and the public at large. And that is why the terrorist attack is likely to lead to that which has happened in every country that went from a democracy into an authoritarian regime. And that is a grab of power, a concentration of power into Trump and his inner circle, so that they can use the trauma that occurs as a result of a major terrorist attack to justify a whole range of new measures, draconian measures, to incarcerate people, to deport people, to follow people, to spy on people, to create the kind of police state, the kind of inner terror network that is characteristic of all authoritarian regimes. So this is a brief video, but I just wanted to make it because put it out there as a little bit of a warning, so people are prepared for when that happens. Because Trump will use an act of terrorism, which he seems to be encouraging, deliberately or not, by avoiding the traditional counter-terrorism actions that the government usually takes. And it's likely that he would then use that moment to be the turning point in which he shifts the country away from democratic norms and into autocracy. Whether it's Hitler and the burning of the Reichstag, or examples that you can find littered throughout history, this is exactly how the trajectory tends to work. So as I said at the beginning of the video, to be forearmed is to be forewarned. So although it's not something nice to think about or to predict, it's very important to be aware of this highly possible trajectory. I hope you liked the video. I hope you also can join me with more of my content that I'm aiming to make over the coming months and years. You see, this time around, what we're experiencing in this administration is a global trauma, and the people going through it have been asking, how can we support ourselves? How can we learn and grow and share together through this process? So I've started to write a series of ebooks. That's together with my whole team. Once a month, we're going to produce an ebook to help us understand better the psychology of the people around us and the systems we're in, as well as our own psychology too, to help us navigate this increasingly confusing and disorientating world we find ourselves in. You'll be able to find those books on russellsbooks.com. That's russellsbooks.com. As soon as you go there, you'll be able to see the growing catalogue of books and hopefully buy any of them at any point. In addition, I hope you can subscribe to my e-newsletter. See, there's a link in the description of this video and also the description of the channel. And if you go there, you'll be able to fill out a form. Once you've completed the form, you'll then be able to get subscribed to my e-newsletter. And that way you can always be kept up to date about the content I'm producing. You see, the fact is that this platform, as well as all platforms, are owned by a very small number of oligarchs. And at any point, they might decide to shut down a channel like this. And if they do that, then, well, it's going to be hard for us to keep connecting. So if you sign up for my e-newsletter, that way you'll be able to make sure that you'll be informed about my content wherever it's delivered and wherever it lands. Finally, I hope you might also consider becoming a member of the channel. If you do, you'll get these ebooks for free every month. So all the ebooks I produce go free to my members who join the channel every month. Also, you can get priority response to comments, and there's also a members-only chat page for higher-level members that we engage in regularly to sort of learn, share, and support one another. As I say, this is a difficult time, it's a traumatic time in history, so many of us need support from each other. I'm hoping each of these things can help all of us create a better tomorrow together. Thank you.